I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational. But that just wouldn't be our style. Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever. Right on! Shotgun. DC right. Flip 90. Dig. On the center. Ready?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Bills Guys, presented by the Buffalo Fanatics. My name is Steve Mathis. You can find me, as always, on Twitter. My handle is Judge Mathis, and I am joined by a special guest, Judge and Reed Part 3 today.
There
as
it
I
is.
am joined by BF gambling expert Casey Reed, host of the Buff City podcast and part of the Buffalo Fanatics pregame show. You can find him on Twitter at ReadEmAndWeep03.
303. Just type in Read 'em and Weep. You'll find me.
Yeah, you'll find it.
Yeah, I'm there.
How you doing tonight, Casey? Are you ready for part 3 of this thing?
I've been so nervous. I've been up all night. I woke up early. Don't know why, because I was up until 4, just pacing in my living room. My wife's like, calm down. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready for part 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so already some comments about the beard. I actually had a trimming accident the other day. I was trying to be cool, right?
Okay.
I was trying to go for like a 5 o'clock shadow on the side, blended into a nicely trimmed goatee with some nice sideburns, and I lopped half my chin off when I was doing it. So I have to go now to this sort of baby face 5 o'clock shadow look for a week until it grows back. But if anyone asks, I'm just doing it because you can't have 2 beards in one show, and I knew that you weren't going to shave yours.
I'm not shaving. No,
I'm
never shaving again.
I have to roll with the baby face for today. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We got a bunch of people in the house. We got Charles, we got Sean, we got Cody Finney, Juan Castillo, Chris Jenke, my man Randy Bobandy is in the house. Amy's in the house. Zach Allen, Jacob Ander, Dion Webster, N. Smith. I think I already said Juan Castillo, Fabian Vasquez. We got a whole bunch of you guys in here tonight. Truth the Hearts is in the house as well. Pierce's Beard Gang. I don't think he's looked at my face yet.
He has the nicest beard.
He does.
Not? Right?
Oh, yeah.
When I was editing that video last night, I noticed that my beard was huge when we first were in round 1 or part 1, and now it's like this little baby. I cannot wait. I'm hoping by Christmas, like I'm really getting on my wife's nerves with a big beard by Christmas. But I aspire to be like Pierre and his beard.
Andrew Miller in the house as well. Welcome, Andrew. Yeah, it's weird. I'm trying to stay as far away from the camera as possible today. Tilt the camera a little bit because I've got like the quarantine double chin going. And the lack of beard really shows that out. But let's stop talking about my face and let's start talking about Buffalo Bills football. So big game coming up this Sunday. I don't know if you've heard this. I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter yet, Casey. Not a lot of people are talking about it. Not a lot of people are talking about it. The Bills' next 4 opponents combined record is 8-0. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I was. I'm very excited about it. I'm so excited because what's the media gonna do? Say we go into it and we win, 3 out of the 4, right? What are they gonna do? Are they gonna say, "Oh, Buffalo doesn't play anybody," or are they gonna look at that 1 and then be like, "Well, they lost there," and say, "What are they gonna say?" Right. So now it's time for, this Bills team to finally, they're gelling, right? They're ready to go. Addison said today, like, we know what we're about. We know what the goal is, right? So he said that today. So if the goal is that, man, go out there and prove the media wrong. And I'm here for it.
Yeah. Last week I was Fat Kenny G. This week I'm Tommy Pickles adult version.
Wow.
All right. But yeah, it's really interesting. And that's the title of our show tonight. I forgot to throw up the banner. But that's the title of our show tonight. Can the Bills offense or the Bills in general keep rolling against this tough schedule? And that is the conversation that we're going to have tonight is can the Bills keep rolling? But before we do that, I want to get into the news and notes. And the first news and note I want to talk about is the Buffalo Bills practice squad designations. Because the practice squad designations have been really key these past couple of weeks. You see a guy like Justin Zimmer on there, and you're like, oh, Vernon Butler, has got sort of that lame hammy. Like maybe Justin Zimmer's going to play. Oh, Cam Lewis is protected. We have some injuries in the secondary. Maybe that's a hint. So you can sort of look for hints in who's protected on the practice squad over these last couple of weeks. This week, protected on the practice squad, 2 interior offensive linemen, Jordan Devey and Jonathan Harrison. They're my show notes, just blowing off the table there. Dane Jackson and Justin Zimmer. A position is missing there from the protected guys in the practice squad, and that is 2 guys we protected last week. Those linebackers, Andre Smith and Deion Lacey. Is it the Bills didn't feel like those 2 guys were going to get taken? Or could this be a sign that maybe Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmunds are on their way back in?
I think they are on their way back in. I think it says a lot. When we were looking at it, we thought that Edmunds was ahead of Milano. And then now, Matt Milano is not in a contact jersey. He hasn't been in the last 2 days. Edmunds has. I think Matt Milano at the very least is starting, and Edmunds waits another week. But I think they're both in. I feel very confident in that one.
Yeah, see, it's really weird. If you would have asked me before the week started, like before practices got underway, before we started seeing the first couple of injury reports, who do you think is going to be active this week and who do you think is going to be inactive? I would have said, I think Tremaine Edmunds will play this week, and I think Matt Milano will continue to sit with that soft tissue injury. But then you look at the injury report this week, or you look at practice. Matt Milano, full pads. I know they were non-contact today, but he's not wearing, or I'm sorry, they were non-padded today.
Mm-hmm.
Milano's not wearing the red non-contact jersey. He's wearing blues. And it's Tremaine Edmunds who's wearing the non-contact jersey. So it's something to look into, but I'm fairly confident, I think, that that they'll both be able to play. And let's run through that injury report, because Andrew just mentioned look out for Cole Beasley. Yeah, he was on the injury report this week as well with the thumb. So if you look at the Buffalo Bills injury report this week, Cole Beasley did not participate on Wednesday. He participated in a limited amount, or I'm sorry, he participated in full today, but he did catch that ball. Matt Perino posted the clip, and he looked a little shaken up. John Brown was limited today, but I'm not worried about his foot. No. This is a long injury list we got going here. Tremaine Edmunds was limited. Jerry Hughes is back today. Teron Johnson was limited. Dawson Knox did not participate. Matt Milano was limited. Zach Moss did not participate. Ed Oliver was limited. Delshon Phillips did not participate, and Tre'Davious White was full. By looking at this, and we'll know for sure tomorrow. Like I tweeted this yesterday. I'm at the point now where I don't overreact to any of this. It's the Friday injury report that I care about. It's the Friday one. So to me, there was a ton of veteran rest days in there. My 2 biggest concerns right now are I think Dawson Knox isn't going to play, and I don't think Zach Moss is going to play either.
You're correct. They're both out. I mean, they've got to be. Knox has a concussion, and I don't. What's going on with Moss?
It appears like it's possibly a turf toe.
Yeah. I was thinking hamstring, but I haven't got any word on what's going on.
It said toe. It says toe on the injury report.
Okay. So no, I don't think he's playing. I really don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that it's gonna be really super interesting. And the Rams are somewhat healthy. They're without their starting left guard, Joe Noteboom. They put him on IR. David Edwards is going to take his spot. And the real question for them is going to be whether Cam Akers plays or not.
Yeah, it's their running back position.
Mm-hmm. Malcolm Brown is also hurt. It's looking like Malcolm Brown's going to play, but he's playing with a fractured thumb. So take advantage of that if he's playing.
Yeah.
And Cam Akers, your boy, probably ain't going to be playing this week with that rib cartilage injury. So it should be interesting. The Bills definitely have a longer injury list, but we'll start talking about that when we start talking about matchups. But just wanted to get the injuries out of the way right away. And let's get into the big topic for today. Let's get into what we all came here to talk about.
Why are there boxes behind me? No, that's I am moving. I'm moving, guys. I'm so sorry. It's an eyesore. I had to shut that down real quick. I meant to move it before we did the podcast. In fact, I have a banner, right? But I'm very irresponsible, and I took it down one day, and I've lost a piece to it, which is why I don't have a banner. But yeah, just ignore the boxes in the back. Next time y'all see me, hopefully next month, I'm gonna have an awesome man cave. That is where I'm gonna do all this. So, All
right, I won't call you and ask you to be on the show again until you got that man cave. But what's our offense going to look like against the LA Rams? This has been our topic of conversation for 3 weeks now, and I want you guys in the chat section to let us know what you think the Buffalo Bills offense is going to look like today. Because the Rams have been susceptible to the run. So you'd think, oh, well, we're going to start running the ball. We're finally going to go back to the Bills of old. And we're going to see a bulk of the workload go to the running backs. And we're going to see them take some pressure off of Josh Allen. But that's also what we expected last week against Miami. Is this offense just this offense now? It doesn't matter who we're playing?
Man, every time I said this, I think last night, but every time I say this is what the Bills are going to do, they do the exact opposite. Okay, so in my thought process is that Josh is going to throw for about 250 to 260 and 2 touchdowns. Somebody, Practical Kid TV, actually posted that right here, 2 touchdowns, and he said he's going to get an interception. I don't see him getting an interception. I think he stays stellar, but I don't see him pushing 300 or even 400 yards. And then as far as the running backs go, are you disappointed in the run game so far, or is it just our opponents that we're playing?
I'm not I wouldn't say I'm disappointed because we're still getting a decent yards per carry average, and the passing game has just been so phenomenal that we haven't needed it. Week 1 was definitely a matchup situation. Week 2, not so much. Like the Bills came out and completely just took it to Miami in their strength in the man-to-man passing game. I would say if I were to draw it up to anything, it seems like this is the Buffalo Bills offense now. This is it. Josh Allen's going to throw the ball between 35 and 50 times every game. This is our offense now. Like, this is it. And because of that, because of this like Kansas City spread type of offense and this 11 personnel we're running, the offensive line still has to gel and get used to different sort of run sets and different ways of run blocking. It's a completely different run scheme than it was a year ago for the Buffalo Bills. So it's something for them to have to get used to and get acclimated to. And it's going to probably take them a couple of weeks. So I wouldn't say I'm disappointed yet, but if we continue to, I don't know, through 2 weeks, I would say it's not that I'm disappointed in the run game. It's just that I'm sort of surprised that like Devin Singletary hasn't done something to completely wow me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, he had like 2 good runs against the Dolphins, later on in the game, really started getting going. Not the third quarter, in the fourth quarter. He had a couple good run games, and he was used in the passing game as well, which I personally think that's how they're going to utilize him this week, is in the passing game, because you got AD right there in the middle. You're not going to be able to run up the middle with AD there. You're going to have to want to go around. You're going to have to get out on the edge. I think the passing game is going to be important, or the screen game, that is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we look at the Rams run defense, the Rams front 7 minus Aaron Donald and Michael Brockers is pretty bad. They got 3 sacks this year. They're one of the worst teams analytically rushing the passer. They are really susceptible on the edge, and they're really bad at linebacker. And you look at their secondary, they play a lot of zone defense in their secondary. So to me, I think our offense is going to look a heck of a lot like we did week 1 against the Jets. We're going to try to run the ball. I think we might try to do a lot of things to Isaiah McKenzie in the jet sweep game. Try to get Devin Singletary the ball on the edge away from Aaron Donald. And when it comes to passing, I don't think we're going to see the bombs like we saw against Miami, because the zone defense, it's just, there are no bombs to be thrown.
Yeah,
especially if they're dropping like guys like Joe Johnson and Jordan Fuller deep into the field. So to me, it's going to have to be dink and dunk Allen like it was against the New York Jets, where it's going to be, all right, take those 8 to 10 yarders, those 15 yarders, the short to intermediate passing game. But I still think we could see 40, 45 throws from Josh Allen in doing that. And I still think we can move the ball super effectively. So essentially, in summation, what I'm saying is like, I don't think that this Bills offense is going to change. I think it's Josh Allen. They've handed him the keys, and I think this offense is going to keep rolling this week, and I think Josh Allen will have himself another 300-yard game.
I mean, he's accounting for over 70% of the offense alone right now. So, yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with saying that he's going to continue to do it. But I think the biggest thing is the matchups. Like, BD is setting them up for success when it comes to scheming the matchups well. So, I'm excited.
Yeah, Truth to Heart says, I think we destroy their defense. I'm with you. Like, literally, if you look at their defense is 3 guys. It is 3 guys, or 4 guys. It's Aaron Donald and it's Michael Brockers in the middle. And then it's Joe Johnson back there at safety. And then it's Jalen Ramsey on the edge. Everyone else can be attacked. They are susceptible to big games being had on them. So I think the Bills are just going to have to strategize an offense that literally just avoids those 4 players and attacks everywhere else on the field. Attack the edge. Attack corner number 2. Attack the middle of the field. on their nickel corner. Steer clear, and I'm not even saying steer clear of Jalen Ramsey. I'm just saying pick your shots. Like, pick your shots when it comes to those guys.
You don't have to steer clear of them because it's going to be open on the other side of the field. I mean, that's the crazy thing is that it's going to be open on the other side of the field. I think Jalen, Jalen and Stephon, that's going to be a great matchup to watch. Stephon's going to win some, Jalen's going to win some. But I mean, yeah, I'm excited to watch that action right there.
Yeah, Pierre says he highly doubts Cole goes, which I don't know. And we're going to get into that when we get into like specific matchups and stuff, but yeah, it should be super interesting. My next question for you and for the people in the chat section, and I really want to hear what you guys think about this too, is how do you think our defense is going to rebound from sort of that shellacking we took in Miami last week to the hands of Ryan Fitzpatrick? Like, he had himself a day against us. He was picking us apart. Do you think our defense is able to rebound, whether Matt Milano plays, whether Tremaine Edmonds plays? Do you think our defense is going to have a better day on Sunday against a Rams offense? It's put up 28 points a game.
It's a wild one because if Edmonds and Milano, if they're not there, there's a huge hole in the middle of our defense. And we just saw Tyler Higbee put up three touchdowns, right? So, and he's a way better tight end than Gesicki is, right? So I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Edmonds,
I don't know. Oh, no. You're not allowed to make that comment, sir. I don't know if you're allowed to make that comment. I don't know if he's better than
Tyler Higbee is.
I think they're both on the come up. I think they're both on the come up.
They are. They're very similar in what they did because Gesicki came on the come up last year, the same as Higbee. Higbee is a little bit older.
Gesicki can't block for shit. Like, Gesicki is like very much like a Jimmy Graham big slot. Tyler Higbee is probably more like the George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Rob Gronk, where you can play him in line and do more things with him. Different skill sets, but I think they're both pretty equal in how good of players they are, in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
That's fair. But still, the point still stands, right? That you just had Gesicki come down there and have a great game. Then you have Tyler Higbee, who's coming off a great game. You got to think that Sean McVay is licking his chops, ready to get out there and attack that defense if they're not playing. But even if they are playing, you got to think that they're still going to try to target Higbee a lot. So plus Levi Wallace got attacked a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. Fitz had some good throws, right? He had some good throws, but Wallace did get attacked.
I've got an answer for you, and I'll tell you why our defense is going to rebound this week. Jared Goff is not Ryan. Jared Goff is not Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know how the Miami Dolphins beat the Buffalo Bills? You know how they beat the Buffalo Bills last week? Legitimately force feeding the football over the middle of the football field, force feeding it over Levi, force feeding it over Teron, force feeding it over AJ Klein. Ryan Fitzpatrick is capable of making those throws. Jared Goff is not. Jared Goff is very much, and the LA Rams offense in general is not a let's pick a guy and pick him apart. Their offense is very much let's manufacture people open. Let's run pick plays. Let's run misdirections. It's very much scheme more so than let's pick the weakest link and beat the crap out of them. That's not what the LA Rams do. And I think Sean McDermott is going to be able to have a better game plan for what the LA Rams do than what the Miami Dolphins do. And there is I don't even know if there's a very big difference in wide receiver size. Robert Woods is a little small. I wouldn't say he's small, but Van Jefferson's big. Cooper Kupp is big. Tyler Higbee is big. Reynolds is big. They got some big receivers there in LA, but it's not like it's not like they actually use them for their size. Jared Goff ain't throwing very many jump balls. When Jared Goff throws to people, it's because they are strategically manufactured open. It is manufactured wide receiver screens. It is manufactured, everything is manufactured in that offense. Like Sean McVay is literally
really good job.
He's literally in Jared Goff's headset until 10 seconds before the snap, telling him what audibles to call. Jared Goff is essentially Sean McVay's brain, is in Jared Goff's body. Sean McVay does everything up until there's 10 seconds before the snap. I'm not saying, listen, Chrissy, I'm not saying Ryan Fitzpatrick is better than Jared Goff. I'm saying what Ryan Fitzpatrick does well was what made the Buffalo Bills defense susceptible last week. I don't think anyone here can argue that Jared Goff is not the kind of guy who's going to force feed a ball into his wide receivers and attack Levi Wallace 13 times over the middle of the football field. That's not Jared Goff's game. And Richard Rush makes a great comment. You can blitz Jared Goff. You can't blitz Ryan Fitzpatrick. I can agree with that. I can agree and disagree. Ryan Fitzpatrick does struggle when he's pressured, but he gets that ball out quick. What the Buffalo Bills, what the St. Louis Rams do is a lot of play action and a lot of setting up their plays, and that takes time. So if our defensive line can get to Jared Goff this week and we can get in his face, his passing statistics under pressure are terrible. Jared Goff is I don't care what anyone says, Jared Goff is very much a system quarterback. He's a very good system quarterback, but he is a system.
He reminds me a lot of Matt Ryan. He reminds me a lot of Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but this offense is all misdirection. It's all manufacturing guys open. It's not so much force feeding the ball into guys, which is what killed the Buffalo Bills last week.
You made a good point, right? But you're saying that Fitz force fed and he targeted Levi Wallace 13 times. Wouldn't you think that Sean McVay sees that, right? And he's going to manufacture that to happen again, right? Wouldn't you see that a little bit, or do you think that they're going to manufacture other things?
I'd be shocked because that's not Sean McVay's game. Now I'm not, but here's the other thing: Buffalo prefers to play zone, and their zone was getting picked apart by Ryan Fitzpatrick last week to the point where they switched to man-to-man coverage. So it's going to be really interesting this week to see what the Buffalo Bills do on defense. I really wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I'd be shocked if the Buffalo Bills didn't switch up their defensive game plan this week and play heavy man-to-man defense. Why? Because Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp ain't beating you deep, and Jared Goff is quite honestly afraid to throw the football deep. They don't have burners on that team. It's Van Jefferson, it's Josh Reynolds, it's Cooper Kupp. There's no burners there. There's no burners. So if we can jam these wide receivers at the line, we can get pressure on Jared Goff. We can throw off his timing. We can throw off his rhythm. We don't let these receivers sort of manufacture and set all the picks and all the different things that they want to do. I think we could have a lot of success against this defense, but it comes down to the linebackers reading and reacting and making tackles. It comes down to the secondary making tackles. Like making tackles, being in the right lane, all of those things are huge when a team likes to run all those misdirections. And we've seen the Buffalo Bills highly susceptible to a lot of these misdirection plays, and it's only tougher when Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano don't play or they're not 100%. And even if they both play, they wouldn't be 100%.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting, to see, what we do. And we got Practical Kid TV again. He's like, our strong safety have to play really well. Honestly, all of our safeties have to play really well. Like Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. I wouldn't be surprised. I was surprised last week when we didn't take a safety and put a safety on Mike Gesicki. We played Levi Wallace on Mike Gesicki. We played Teron Johnson on Mike Gesicki. We played Dean Marlowe on guys in the slot. I don't know if we're going to see that again. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to have to change up their game plan a little bit. Maybe we see Campbell Lewis. Maybe Dane Jackson gets the call up. I was really surprised that Saran Neal didn't see the field. Dean Marlowe got more reps than Saran Neal did, but that just tells me that maybe the Buffalo Bills don't like Saran Neal as a defensive player. Maybe it is more of he's more of a special teams guy. Yeah. Andrew Miller says we need more turnovers. Yeah, we do. And that's to me, that's going to be on Ed Oliver, and that's going to be on Quentin Jefferson, David Edwards, Austin Blythe, and Austin Corbett. Not very good. Not very good in that interior of the LA Rams offensive line. Not very good. So you're going to have to, Jefferson and Butler and Oliver are going to have to get that pressure up the middle on Jared Goff, force him to the outside where guys like Jerry Hughes and Trent Murphy and the linebackers can wrap up and get those sacks. So it's going to be big. And that's another matchup. We haven't even talked about. Andrew Whitworth is a beast. Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison are going to have a tough time with Andrew Whitworth. There was a couple of plays last game where Jerry Hughes moved over to left end, and Jerry Hughes went up against Jesse Davis because Jesse Davis is a little more heavy-footed than Austin Jackson. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a ton of that this week. Noteboom is out, Corbett is in. So to my knowledge, I haven't seen him on an injury report. Austin Corbett is in it. It's Joe Nopum, the other guard that was placed on IR. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Hughes happening for the Bills. No, but I see a lot of pressures happening, and the Bills have been one of the highest pressure teams. So it's I mean, that's not Sean McDermott's game. Sean McDermott's game has never been to get sacks. It's never been that way. Like, you look at his entire career as a defensive coordinator, barely does he have guys dipping into the double digits. Barely. So it's just not his game. But someone said, is Andrew Whitworth still good? He's almost 50. He's got his ARP. Yeah, he's still good.
Yeah,
he is still good.
He's still good. Yeah, he's still really good.
He's still really, really good.
And he's only 38. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm. So let's get into some segments here. And I want the people in the comment section to stop talking about my lack of facial hair. I already explained to you that it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. The beard will be back in 2 to 3 weeks. Everybody take a deep breath. It'll be back. At this rate, I probably should have used the Manscaped product on my face, because that's how I screwed up the chin here. But let's get into it. My first question to you, and my first question to the chat here: does Josh Allen go over 300 yards this week?
No, I don't see him going over 300 yards. I don't. Like I said before, 250, 260, 2 touchdowns. I don't see any interceptions, but I don't see him going over 300 yards. Not again. Mm-mm.
All right.
I mean, and that might just be because I'm so used to him not doing that, right? Mm-hmm. That when I see a 300 and then a 400, it's hard for me to sit back and logically think like, oh, okay, well, he's just going to do it again. No, in my mind, I'm thinking, this is back where he starts to settle down. He's not going to get the long ball like you mentioned earlier, and he's going to put up, 250, 260, and just 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. The comment section it's just getting brutal at this point. Like, it's just getting
you just got to ignore it, man. You just got to roll. You just got to roll with it.
Whoever is the one who called me a
grown
fat
up
Kenny G. No, whoever called me a fat Kenny G last week, this is your fault, because I tried to slim my face a little bit by 5 o'clock shadowing the chin and then doing a goatee type situation, and I shaved the chin off. So whoever called me a fat Kenny G last week, this is really your fault. So, a couple comments. We got, PFF clapping back today, LMAO. Is it clapping back? It seems to me like they agree with us.
I mean,
it seems to me like they agree with us. All I know is cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. PF made Buffalo Fanatics some money today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen it, if you head over to the BF fan shop, and what's the promo code, Pierre? Hit me up with the promo code. I believe the promo code is BF fan shop. You can also use the promo code Bills guys for 10% off. It's Buffalo versus PFF. So we took the Buffalo versus everybody and we turned it into Buffalo versus PFF. So if you want your hands on, you're
just a big bone, Michael.
If you want,
there's the link down there.
There we go. If you want your hands on some Buffalo versus PFF gear, head on over to bffanshop.com. Use the promo code Bills guys. You can get 10% off. Does Buff City still work? That promo code still work?
Yeah, I'm sure. I hope so. I don't know. Pierre, does it still work? Let's use it. Somebody go use it.
You can use the promo code Buff City, get 10% off, or you can use the promo code BF Shop, and I think the discount is even more than ours. So BF versus.
There's a comment that I want to throw up before we move on, and it's New Mexico EJE. He's a little up to the top if you scroll a little bit, and he basically says no faith there, Reed, right? And and he's talking about me saying that I don't see him putting up 300 to 400 yards again. And it's not that I don't have faith. Like, that's cool if he does it, but when did it start becoming a thing that quarterbacks had to put up 300 to 400 points, and then if they don't, they're not good? Right. I'm okay with Josh putting up 250 to 260, 2 touchdowns, and us winning the game and him not having any turnovers. Like, that right there says, hey, great quarterback. He took what the defense was giving him and he ran with it. So,
Sean, head over to either the BF Facebook or the BF Instagram. There should be a promo running for the BF hoodie, the Buffalo versus Everybody hoodie. So just scroll down on the Facebook page. I believe it's on a different website now because we're having issues with Teespring. But head over to Fanatics or Instagram, and there should be a promo there for you. A nice little, what do they call those graphics that tells you exactly how to get those Buffalo versus everybody hoodies. So check that out. But I'm going to disagree with you, Casey. And
that's fair.
I was really surprised.
You can't do that.
I can't disagree with you. I'm not allowed to disagree with you.
No, not on your own show. You're not allowed to disagree with your guest.
If you disagree with Casey and you're on YouTube, smash that like. If you disagree with Casey and you're on Facebook, smash that like. Smash that like, people. Let's get some likes in the house. But I'm going to disagree with you, and here's why. I think we're going to see another game, as I mentioned earlier, like the New York Jets, where I think Josh Allen, who has become a pretty good quarterback at picking apart the middle of the defense. And I think if Cole Beasley plays, you're going to see a lot of Cole Beasley. John Brown's going to make those plays against Williams, a smaller corner. He's played fairly well, but in a very limited sample size. I don't think he's seen a wide receiver in his career quite like John Brown. I think Tyler Kroft could have a big game. Like we're going to start talking about some guys who could have a big game in this passing game this week. And it'll be really interesting, some of the names that I'm going to bring up, because I think it could be surprising. But I think it's going to be a game where Josh Allen throws the ball 40 times, 35 to 40 times, and you'll see him dinking and dunking it. And I think you'll see a lot of yards after the catch this week and taking advantage of pretty much everything away from Jalen Ramsey and Johnson, like away from those two guys, whether it's Williams or it's Fuller or the linebackers. I think Josh Allen's going to have himself a day picking them apart. So, Steve calling Josh Allen a pretty good QB.
I laughed at that. Yeah, that's what
I didn't have him 12th on my rankings this week. My imaginary rankings. I did not have him 12th. So I'm already ahead of PFF in that standpoint. So here's my next question for you. And I think it's a little easier to answer this question now. Maybe it's a little easier to answer this question now. Did we see a running back get more than 15 carries this week? A running back get more than 15 carries this week?
No, I don't see it. And the only reason being is because the average for both running backs have been 9 to 10 carries. 9 to 10 attempts have been the average for both of them. And I think they're going to stay at that unless they're going to try to force feed the running backs to jumpstart the running offense per se, because we're 22nd in the league. Unless they're going to do that, no. I really think it's going to come down to the screen game, which, like you just said, they're throwing the ball more. I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to try to get to the outside. But yeah, 9 to 10 carries or 9 to 10 attempts a game is what you've seen both running backs get. So no, I don't see them getting 15 plus.
No, Kenny, I got him going over 300, man. It's Casey that does. It's Casey that doesn't. I have him going over 300. I think he will make it. I think he will make it over 300 yards. But I think Josh Allen will make it over 300 yards, and I think we'll see a running back with 15 plus carries. Because I don't think Zach Moss is playing, and I don't really think we trust TJ Yeldon to run the football. So I think Devin Singletary is going to get the bulk of the carries. So even if you if you add Zach Moss's production and Devin Singletary's production, if you double that, you're going to get yourself over 15. Even if you subtract a couple of carries here and there, I think injuries will dictate this week that the Buffalo Bills won't have that same committee approach. I think you'll see like a 70-30 rotation between Singletary and Yeldon. And I think Singletary is going to get, he's going to get around 15, 16 carries this week. So I think not only is Josh Allen going to have 300 yards, I think Devin Singletary is going to get himself over that 15 carry mark. The interesting thing to see will be what does he do with it? I mean,
do you see it being 70-30 right there between Yeldon and Singletary, or do you see Allen picking up the slack in the running game rather than Devin Singletary? Because the running game hasn't really picked up a lot, and you made that face, so you're ready to rant. He's ready to rant. Everybody get ready.
No, I'm not ready to rant. I was thinking I could easily see Josh Allen having a big day on the ground because number one, their edge players are not great. Like their linebackers on the edge are not great.
Correct. Yep.
Their linebackers aren't great. And Aaron Donald's probably going to be flushing Josh Allen out of the pocket a ton. So you could see Josh Allen being forced out of the pocket and having a running lane there. But on the other end of the spectrum, the Rams run a lot of zone defense, which means the secondary isn't going to have their backs turned to Josh Allen. So it's a double-edged sword, but I do think you're probably going to see Josh Allen run for more yards than he did in Miami. I was a little surprised at how little he ran against Miami. But, it should really be interesting. Like, I'm not There's a couple of things. I'm not sold on the Rams defense outside of 4 players. I mentioned Johnson, Ramsey, Brockers, Donald. Not sold on that defense. And the second thing is their defensive coordinator is like first year calling defensive plays, third year in the National Football League. He was a college coach in like Division II for most of his career. This is a fast riser. The Staley guy, fast riser up the coaching ranks. Brian Daboll, I think, is a smart enough guy to be able to pick that apart. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. And he's done a good job at scheming both these games so far this year. So, I mean, I can see it, but I don't know. And in my mind, I just had a thought, I'm over here, saying, hey, they're not going to get 10 yards and blah, blah, blah. And you're saying that he's going to go over 300 yards and they're going to get more than 10 plus carries. In my mind, I was thinking you can't do that, but why not? Why can you not have both? Right. I don't know why mentally I'm thinking like it's either one or the other. Right. And this offense, it doesn't have to be like that anymore. So I don't know. It's, I guess, mental block.
There's a lot of comments here about a ringing sound. Is that coming from you? Because that ain't coming from me.
I have no idea.
They said they heard a bell.
It might be this stupid Apple Watch that I bought not too long ago. How do you turn it off?
I don't know.
Oh, that's Siri.
It's your watch, dude.
Oh, there you go. Here, I figured my wife wanted an Apple Watch for her birthday, so I bought her one, and it was like $200 off if I got another one. So whatever. Anyways, so the watch is off. So if you hear it again, then it's on Steve's end. So
Chris had an avatar. He had an avatar on Twitter.
I can't get a word in edgewise on the show, Chris. Dude, I'm so sorry. Like, Steve has been talking for 38 minutes straight. This is the first time I've had anything to talk about. No, dude, Chris is awesome. Like, and I want to brag on Chris, because if you go to my Twitter, like, I don't follow anybody. I'm very selective on who I follow on Twitter, and I caught myself following Chris. I don't know why I did it. I follow you. And I disagree with everything you say on there, but that neither here nor there. But I'm following Chris, and man, he makes some really good points. I genuinely stop and read what he's saying. So really shout out Chris. And if you're a Bills Mafia member and you're on Twitter, go give him a follow, because he's genuinely, he makes some good points on Twitter, and I enjoy it. So there's your shout out, man.
We got a question for Maurice Anderson. Do you see Tyler Kroft being a significant contributor this week? That's a great question. There are 3 guys, because Scott Blakely says, in my opinion, if Dawson Knox plays, he will eat. I mentioned before, Hill is not the greatest nickel corner in the world. These linebackers aren't that great. Jordan Fuller, I saw him play a lot at Ohio State. He can't tackle for shit. Like, he's really good dropping back into zone coverage and playing center field. That dude can't tackle for shit. So it's going to be really interesting. I think here are the guys that I think could have a game that we're not expecting. Like, obviously everyone knows John Brown. Everyone knows Stephon Diggs, but Tyler Kroft. If Dawson Knox doesn't play, could Tyler Kroft be a guy who catches 5-6 passes for 60 yards and a touchdown? Cole Beasley, if he plays, if he's healthy, if he's feeling it, he can eat on those linebackers. He can not push around, but maneuver himself around a nickel corner like Hill. Gabe Davis. Could the Buffalo Bills put Gabe Davis on the outside against Williams, Darius Williams, the cornerback, who's 5'9", 186 pounds? Could the Buffalo Bills be playing Gabe Davis a significant amount on the boundary and throwing him some 50-50 balls? And last but not least, the edge defenders and the linebackers are weak on this Rams team. Isaiah McKenzie in that jet sweep. Could it make a comeback this week? Those are all things that I would look for. Devin Singletary out of the backfield. Those are all things I would look for outside of the main 2, Diggs and Brown. Because like I said, Brian Daboll, the experience Brian Daboll has compared to the experience that the DC in LA Staley has is night and day. Brian Daboll has seen things that this dude hasn't even imagined before in his entire life. Brian Daboll's going to show him stuff he's never seen before. Fangio disciple or not. And I don't think the Rams have the talent to keep up with all the talent on this Bills offense. That's why I think the Bills offense is just going to keep doing what they do and throw the ball. And Josh Allen is just going to be selective about where he throws it. And then he's going to be selective about the shots he takes. against Jalen Ramsey. All the throws to Stephon Diggs this week, with the exception of a couple here and a couple there, a slant here, a slant there. I guarantee you most of the throws to Stephon Diggs this week, who will probably be shadowed by Jalen Ramsey, are going to be off the play action. Why? To give Stephon Diggs that time to separate. So I think Brian Dable is just going to maybe not dominate. I give him plenty of time to talk. I don't know what people are talking about.
I'm listening. Guys, I'm listening. I've got a couple of points like that I want to talk about.
For it.
Like,
Go for it.
Singletary, is he that good? Is Singletary is he that good of a receiver out of the backfield? I don't know if he is. Is he good at running routes, or is it just the screen pass here or a wheel route there? Does he have any, say, slot position experience in that? I personally don't know, but it would be nice for him to earn that or do that, right? Because he could potentially take care of these linebackers if we don't see Tyler Crawford, if we don't see Cole Beasley, if he's not healthy enough to go. It would be nice to see Singletary line up like the James Whites do. So Lee Smith will be more important. We might need an extra guy on the line to continue.
Is it legal in football just to put a guy behind Cody Ford and just stand there? So just put Lee Smith behind Cody Ford and just have him stand there.
Just in case.
So Aaron Donald has to go through 3 guys to get to Josh Allen. I don't know if that's illegal. I don't know if that's a legal formation, but I think we would try it. All right. So we've done Josh Allen 300-yard game. We've done running back gets over 15 carries. Apparently I've hogged the mic, so I'm gonna let you go here. I'm gonna ask you this next question.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Does Diggs go over 100 yards today?
No, I don't personally, and I'm gonna stick by my guns, right? It wouldn't be fair for me to do like 3 other shows, right? Like 3 other articles, and then come on this show and then flip flop my whole position. No, I see Stephon Diggs going for the 8 receptions. He's averaging, by the way, 8 receptions per game, but I see him coming out here doing 8 receptions and a little over 80 yards. I see that happening. I think this is the John Brown game. I think John Brown is going to get a lot of looks because of the fact that Jalen is going to shadow Stephon Diggs, or he should, right? Sean McVay should see that Stephon Diggs just did, 8 receptions, 156 yards, and 1 touchdown, and then you just paid Jalen Ramsey to be the highest paid cornerback in the league. He better be shadowing your, the opponent's number 1, wide receiver. So I think this is going to be John Brown's game, which is not bad. I see them flip-flopping back and forth, right? Stephon Diggs is going to get those tough contested third down, passes, but I think John Brown's going to be the one that goes over 100 yards and gets a touchdown.
We got I'm going to get to that in a second too, but a great question from Richard Rush. He says McKenzie in the slot if Beasley can't go, and that question stood out to me. I honestly think if Beasley can't go, I think you would see Stephon Diggs in the slot, right? And that way they would put John Brown on Jalen Ramsey, or see if Jalen Ramsey even shadows him into the slot, and that would open up the slot on the boundary. And that would open up the slot on the boundary for Gabe Davis to go one-on-one versus the 5'9", 186-pound Darius Williams. So that's what I would see, Richard. But I'm with you on the Stephon Diggs thing, and here's why. Like, if you look at Stephon Diggs, you mentioned the 8 targets a game. Like, he's on pace for like 170 targets this year.
Yeah.
Like, it's something insane. Last year he had 94 targets. Like, I don't think I don't know if it's really clicked yet that this dude's on pace for like somewhere between 1,200 and 1,600 yards receiving if he keeps doing what he's doing. Like, it's insane. And obviously there are some weeks where he's got to come back down to earth. And I think these are the weeks where he comes back down to earth, because I think you're going to see a lot like, I don't want to say like the Jets game, but I think the games where there's like an alpha corner on Stephon Diggs, I think those weeks are the weeks where you're going to see Stephon Diggs more as a decoy, and the shots are going to be selective. So if you hit those shots, it could be a really big day for Stephon Diggs. I mean, we see him working Trey White in practice like a dog, dude. Like, he is working him. Yeah. That catch and that throw from Josh Allen today, if you haven't gone on Twitter and seen that throw and catch from Stephon Diggs, or from Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs over Trey White in the red zone, it was insane. So if those kind of throws are going to happen, Stephon Diggs will eat. But I think in these type of games, I'm not saying they're not going to feed Stephon Diggs. I just think they're going to be selective in the way they feed him. It's going to be 5 to 10 targets instead of 10 to 15 targets. And I think you'll see it opened up for other guys. So like, I think you might see I think you might start to see a pattern where as we play alpha corners, Stephon Diggs has those selective days, like 4 catches for 80 yards and maybe a touchdown, or 4 catches for 60 yards, or 6 catches for 80 yards. Like he'll have those kind of days against the Jalen Ramseys of the world. But when he's going up against the big time corners of the world, or I'm sorry, like the smaller corners of the world, the not so great corners, those are the games where we'll feed that dude and he will eat. And that's how they'll keep everyone happy. That's just what I'm thinking. Because like he was up against Noah Igbenegene and he was just taking him out. He was taking him out. Like he was just having a day with that rookie from Auburn.
Rough. Yes. I mean, he doesn't have to eat all the time, right? Obviously, as Buffalo fans, we want him to. But the cool thing about it is he wants John Brown to succeed, right? He wants Cole Beasley to succeed. So if he is taking away Jalen, if he's like, hey, Jalen, look at me, I'm a distraction, and John Brown gets a bomb 60 yards down the field, then yeah, everybody's going to be happy, right? Because Stephon Diggs is on a winning team and they're winning the game. So that's why I'm thinking he goes for about 8 receptions, 80 yards, somewhere in that area.
All right. My next question involves John Brown. Does John Brown go 3 straight weeks with a touchdown?
Yup.
You think so? He's on my fantasy team, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, no, I've been telling people all week, in fact, my buddy texted me today and was like, hey, I've got to sit one, John Brown or Hollywood Brown. And I told him Hollywood Brown. I'm starting John Brown this week.
Yeah.
Who Hollywood? He is. I wouldn't have drafted him, and that's just me, personal preference, because I want to see more from him. But we're getting on a tangent on fantasy. But no, I think this is John Brown's game because, like we just had the conversation about, Diggs is going to take away. He's going to be a distraction. John Brown's going to eat, and I am perfectly okay with that. I think everybody's perfectly okay with that. But I think it would be great for him to go off and get another touchdown. 3 straight games with a touchdown.
I'm actually going to sell this, even though John Brown's on my fantasy team and I like John Brown.
You're selling it?
I'm selling it.
You're going to sit him on your bench, though.
I'm not going to sit him on my bench because I still think he'll be a productive receiver. Give me at least 10 points. I still think he'll give me at least 10 points. But
now, if you're going to sell it, you got to take a picture of him sitting on your bench come game day.
It's in my keeper league, so my roster isn't as deep. Like it's like John Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Reagor, and Kill Harry. It's not the prettiest wide receiver core in the world. But Tennessee just got torched.
I think John Brown.
I got to the show late because I came from work today because apparently I have to work. Like having a profession is something I have to do. And I didn't turn the TV on, so I can't. I see nothing right now but a blank screen. Maybe I'll put it on my phone in a second. But
what's going on?
The Thursday Night Football. But I see the touchdowns coming from the middle of the football field. Gabe Davis, Tyler Kroft, Devin Singletary, Cole Beasley. I think that those 4 guys are going to get you the 3-4 touchdowns you score this game. I think the touchdowns are going to come from an accumulation of those players. Maybe even Isaiah McKenzie throws a touchdown in there. So I know, and that sounds a little crazy, but I think it's going to be the secondary options that eat in the red zone this week. It's going to be someone mentioned earlier, if Cole Beasley doesn't go to call up Duke Williams, there's probably no place for him on the roster.
We're still on that train.
Yeah, but part of me wants a second big option if Dawson Knox can't go, because Lee Smith's a big option, but like too big.
we talked about Duke Williams being a tight end. Why would you not switch him over to tight end and try your hand at that? But he hasn't.
We will cross this bridge.
I know. I just read that. Yeah. No.
716 True says, how do I join the Bing Squad? You join the Bing Squad by going to our homepage on YouTube, and you'll see a giant subscribe button right there on the homepage. So go over there, head up, hit subscribe, and I believe there's a premiere option as well. And we got a super chat here from Josh. Really appreciate the super chat. He says the smoke show is on with Diggs as a host. LOL. I like it. I don't get me wrong. I like it, and I can see it.
I'm here for it.
But I just wanted to play a little devil's advocate, and I think the guys in the middle. I've been predicting this for 3 weeks now. I think the guys in the middle are going to eat. Eventually, it's going to come true. Like every week,
you're going to get right.
Every week, I'm like, you know what? Dawson Knox could be a sleeper pick this week in fantasy. Cole Beasley could be a sleeper pick.
We're all like that
every week. I'm like, at some point, at some point, these defenses are going to go all in on these two boundary receivers, and the middle of football field's just going to be wide open. So it'll be super interesting. But yeah, Josh, really appreciate the super chat, and I'm with you. Like, I hope that happens. Let's go to the other side of the football now, and let's start talking about the other side of the football in terms of the Rams. How many, if any, sacks does Aaron Donald have this game?
If the over/under,
I'm sorry, I used the wrong vocabulary. Hit the join button. My apologies. I used the wrong vocabulary there. Wrong adjective.
If the over/under is 2 when it comes to AD and his sacks, right? I'm taking the under. I just think, look, I know he is a beast, right? But I think Josh Allen is very hard to take down. And I think he's going to throw the ball away more than you think, right? Or he's going to actually escape and get some yards on his feet. I saw him slide during the Dolphins game, and that just made me, lose my mind. But he's not trucking Aaron Donald like he did Kyle Van Noy. He's not doing that.
Do you see what Aaron Donald said today about Josh Allen?
You have to be on your A game, something like that. I glanced over it.
He said he better bring his big boy pads.
Yeah. So I mean,
I love Aaron Donald. It's not going to be fun this week. I love Aaron Donald. Love it.
No, it's not. But I don't see him getting like two or more sacks. I'm gonna take the under and say 1.
Yeah, there was a really good question from BFLO Mafia News, and we're gonna get to that in a second. But I think he could have 1 or 2 sacks, but I also don't think that that's gonna be that detrimental. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the Bills are throwing as much as they do, and Josh Allen is very much like a chunk player. Like, we've gotten in so many like third, second and long situations this year. Like, sorry, I in the middle of all of these comments, I'm getting thoughts in my head as part of my my ADD. But literally, how when we had JP Lossman as our quarterback, or EJ Manuel as our quarterback, or Trent Edwards as our quarterback, or any of these guys, we were shitting our pants when it was 2nd and 12. We were shitting our pants when it was 3rd and 7. Like, we were losing our minds when we were in down and distance situations. And even early in Josh Allen's career, we were losing our minds when we were in down and distance situations because he would try to play hero ball. But the guy hasn't turned the ball. I
still am.
He hasn't thrown interceptions in he's thrown 2 interceptions in his last 10 games or something like that. Something ridiculous like
games,
that. But it's this dude picks up chunk yards. So even if Donald, my next question is going to be who ends up looking better at the end of the game, Jalen Ramsey or Josh Allen? Like, who comes out looking prettier? Jalen Ramsey could have a pick.
Oh.
No, we're not going to answer that yet. But Jalen Ramsey could have a pick this game. Aaron Donald could have 2 sacks this game, and Josh Allen would still look better than the both of them coming out because of his ability to create chunk plays, and because this year, at least last game, he's actually putting the ball in the end zone, which is a nice change of pace from all those field goals we were kicking. So, I don't know what. That's my take. I think Aaron Donald's probably going to get 1 or 2 sacks because I really don't trust Cody. That last game, they were rotating Cody Ford, Quentin Spain, and Brian Winters, and it wasn't pretty. So I expect him to force Josh Allen out a couple times, get a sack or 2, but I also don't expect it to break our backs or kill the game. All right. So Cody Finney says, who cares whom looks better? Just win the ball game and go 3-0. I'm with you, but that still brings me to my next question. Who comes out looking better at the end of this rivalry? This rivalry between Josh Allen and Jalen Ramsey. Who comes out looking better at the end? Josh Allen or Jalen Ramsey?
I am a huge Florida State fan, which means I'm a huge Jalen Ramsey fan. I have been for a very long time. He's from Hendersonville. He's from Tennessee, right? I love Jalen. With that being said, Allen does. Allen's going to come out looking a little bit better than Jalen. He's going to continue his stellar play, and I don't see Ramsey getting an interception. I don't see him getting an interception this year or this game. I just think that, once again, they're going to be selective when they throw to Diggs. He's still going to get the 8 receptions, 80 yards, which is not a bad day, but he's not going to give up a touchdown. So Ramsey's not going to give up a touchdown on Diggs. But Josh is not going to throw an interception in this game, at least not to Ramsey. That was not me. I heard it. That was not on me. That was not me.
716 Truth. Okay. 716 Truth. New member. Welcome to the Bing Squad. Bing, bingity, bing. Welcome, 716 Truth, to the Bing Squad. We appreciate you joining. Anyone else, if you are not a member of Buffalo Fanatics, head over to that main page and click the join button. Join the family. At Buffalo Fanatics, we truly are a family, and there's nothing we appreciate more than our loyal listeners. We love loyalty here at Buffalo Fanatics. So if you are a loyal listener of the show, if you are a member, we appreciate you. And even if you're not a loyal listener, eventually you are going to be one, unless your name is Gil Guzman. Unless your name is Gil Guzman. She will not want to be a member. She will not want to be a member. Gil. She will never be a part of the family. Gil. She will not love us. She will not give us the she will not give us the positive reinforcement that we want.
Come on, watch your language. Watch your language. This is a family show. Please don't put ass up here. This is like, come on. This is a family show.
This is a fucking family show. Gil,
come on, Gil. You know better than that, Gil.
What are you doing?
Come on, Gil. God, Gil.
Some fucking bullshit. God, this is a family show.
Gil. Family show, Gil.
Unfucking believable. This is a family show.
my dog is embarrassed right now for you, Gil.
That's fucking nerve of some people.
Clip it. Do you still like Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow over Allen, Judge? Yeah, Judge, come on, tell us about Kyler Murray. Which, by the way, hey, so I have Buff City.
Hey, they're both playing well.
I do a lot of gambling, right? Backdoor Bengals, right? Joey Burrow, backdoor Burrow, right? Bengals. And I am watching? Backdoor Bengals, right?
No one needs to see Casey's Pornhub search engine at this point. Backdoor Bengals. You serious?
Backdoor Bengals. I'm trying to get Pierre to make me a shirt because the Bengals are going to cover, right? But I'm never betting against Kyler Murray ever again.
Anyway, Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow are both playing really well. And I was having
this whole show up.
Come on, Gil. When I was having that conversation, when we had that conversation this offseason about who we thought was going to have the better offseason, or who's going to have the better season, Kyler Murray or Joe Burrow, I said that I think that Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow were naturally better passers of the football. That was the comment I made. And I think all evidence proved that. But I also, to that point, had proved that. But I also said that if Josh Allen hits his ceiling, he's better than both of them. I didn't know if it would happen. I didn't want to guarantee it would happen. I said I had to see it, but I've seen it. And through 2 weeks, Josh Allen better than Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow, who are both playing very well. And if you ask me to which one of those three quarterbacks I'd take right now, I'd take Josh Allen in a heartbeat, like over those two. Because Kyler is, Kyler is a different kind of athlete than Josh. They're both great athletes, right? But I love the fact that Josh is a bigger dude. And Joe Burrow is a less athletic version of Josh Allen, who's far more accurate. I shouldn't say far more accurate because Josh Allen has shown that accuracy, but the dude is pretty accurate down the football field. Like Joe Burrow's got that ability to run. He's got that ability to throw the football down the field. His arm strength isn't the same. His athletic ability isn't the same. All three are really good quarterbacks.
Dude, they're coming at you pretty hard right now.
I did, but I'm saying the way he's playing, he's hitting the ceiling. He's hitting the ceiling, which was my caveat. If Josh Allen hits that ceiling, I said he would be better than those two over the next 10 years. And he hit that ceiling. I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewatch that show. I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewatch this show. I'm going to clip it. Yeah, we're going to clip it. So okay. This needs to stop.
Yes,
people.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He hates Josh Allen. And that's a fair assessment. He told me in private that he would like to trade Josh Allen away and like 15 first-round picks for Joe Burrow or Kyler Murray. And I was like, Judge, you're dumb, dude. Don't do that. But he said it. He said those things 100%.
What'd I say?
You said that you would like to trade Josh Allen and about 2 or 3 first-round picks for Kyler Murray this year. You said that.
I didn't. I said I would trade Josh Allen
for
Kyler Murray
it's in my
straight up. I said I would trade for
2 or 3 first-round picks. He said it. Guys, I've got.
If I was saying that,
I'll post on Twitter.
If I said that in a private chat, I only said that because I was trolling people. There's no way
Nope.
in my right mind
Nope.
I would have said Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, and multiple first round picks for Colorado. I would not have said that.
He hates
Oh
Josh
my
Allen.
God. Oh my God. You know what? It's okay to like multiple quarterbacks. It's okay to like multiple quarterbacks. I've always said I love Josh Allen. I just said I liked a couple of quarterbacks more than him, and it has turned into this big thing. But let's move on to my next question. Does our secondary get torched again?
Yeah, I think they do. I do. I really do. Right. You've got a lot of playmakers, man, and it's not necessarily getting torched. It's more about the yards per catch or the yards after catch that these receivers are working with. Cooper Kupp's up there in it, and Robert Wood as well. So I don't know. I think they do, but I think it's more of it's a group tackling session that has to happen, or they're going to get a lot of yards per catch. Reed is not going to get invited back. You're right.
I think
not.
Judge and Reed part 3. Judge and Reed part 3 goes to Reed. I think. But
yes. No, but that's the point. I just think Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, who I completely forgot about, who I loved coming out in the draft. I think those guys right there, if you're not tackling them, they're going to get yards after the catch. And what is it? I think Cooper Kupp is like 8th, and I think Robert Woods is 3rd or something like that in yards after the catch. So that yak is going to get them. So, yeah, I think they're going to get torched again.
716 True said, not if Milano and Evans are back. I think communication and flow will be better. The thing is,
yes and no.
how healthy are they even when they play? And at the end of the day, like, if you go back and you watch that Miami game, Tyrell Dodson had himself a day. I'm going to get to these comments in a second. But Tyrell Dodson had himself a day. Like, he did. He played very well. But even Tyrell Dodson having himself a day and playing very well is not 6'5", 250-pound Tremaine Edmonds playing the middle of the defense and getting his hands up and completely messing with quarterbacks' heads. Like, it's just not. And so that should also be noted. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if they're going to get worked the way they did against Miami because, like I said, it's a different kind of offense in St. Louis. It's not we're going to find your weak spot and we're just going to throw it at it 20 times, which was Levi Wallace. The Rams aren't going to do that. They're very much just going to go out to play their game. They're going to try to manufacture guys open. They're going to run their misdirections. They're going to run their play actions. They're going to do what they do. They're going to run their counters to the outside and try to cut in. They're going to do everything they do. Like, they're not going to see Levi Wallace and say, we got to throw at this guy 20 times a game. Like, they'll acknowledge it, but they're not going to attack it the way Miami did because Jared Goff is just not that ruthless kind of football player like Ryan Fitzpatrick is. But if the Buffalo Bills don't go out there and mix up some man covers into that zone, if they're not tackling well, once guys catch the ball, wrapping up, if the first guy's not making the tackle and they're allowed to get to the second level and get past the guy, get a lot of yards after catch, they're going to get torched. They're just going to get torched in a different way. It's going to be a lot more yak than just straight up catching those balls, on those slant routes and things of that nature. We had a couple of questions. I've literally never said a bad thing about the man. I just said I liked other people more. So I still don't. You guys can have your fun with it. You can have your fun with it. I just don't understand it. Someone said, "Have a good evening, fellas." Where was the one?
No, you have a good evening.
Thoughts on Tyler Bass, rookie kicker versus rookie kicker? Could we have a rookie kicker off by the end of this thing?
For the brand, I'm all about it. I mean, Bass is a kicker. I don't know what you. I don't know what to say. Yeah, you do.
Wait till we play the Chargers.
I keep giving you.
Wait till we play the Chargers.
Are you doing that on purpose? Because I call the Jets the New Jersey Jets. Are you doing that on purpose, or are you just letting it slip because you keep forgetting they're in LA?
I'm just letting it
Am
slip.
I missing the joke? Is it? Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were just being a jerk.
They used to play in St. Louis.
Like, I do that to New Jersey all the time. So,
what
was that? I was talking about something. You got me
just a little bit. Kickers.
Oh, the kickers. Yeah, I mean, Tyler Bass is fine. Like, he's gonna be okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's about it on that one.
That's some real solid analysis there.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Appreciate
He's
it.
gonna be all right. He's a rookie.
Rookie kicker
He'll be
versus
good.
rookie kicker. They're both probably going to miss one at some point. But Josh Barrett with the question.
Sure,
I will
yeah.
acknowledge the question, even though he's been embarrassing me in the
Telling the
comments
truth.
tonight.
Telling the truth tonight.
You know, using my own words against me, all those things.
Yeah. Ooh.
Thoughts on Dawson Knox. What are your thoughts on Dawson Knox? First of all, the injury. I don't think he's going to play. Are you in agreement with me there? You don't think?
Are we talking? Are we talking like overall? Or are we just talking this game?
I think we're
he's
talking.
not gonna play. They're not going to.
I think we're talking overall.
Yeah. So I'll. Why not both? Right. So this game, he's probably not going to play. They're not going to mess around with that concussion. They're going to hold him out. Right. But overall, yes, I think Dawson Knox can turn into that tight end number one. I think he can, but he doesn't have to in this offense. That's the good thing about this offense is there's so many different skill position players that Dawson doesn't have to be Gronkowski. He doesn't have to be Jimmy Graham. He doesn't have to be that tight end. I think the fumbling issue. Yeah, when he caught the ball and he fumbled it during the Miami game, like that was due to a concussion. Like, you know, a lot of people want to kill him for that, but I think he's going to be solid. I do, but time will tell. I'd like to see him more involved in the screen game.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much? On a scale of 10, how much do I suck?
Are we talking
Josh Barrett's going to comment 11.
His name is Joshua, not Josh. So, yeah, probably. Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate you.
Yeah, so we got a couple of comments. You know, round 706 says Dawson Knox can't catch, bro. Here's my comparison for Dawson Knox. I got a comparison for Dawson Knox. I want.
Go ahead.
I want you to hear me out. Here's my comparison for Dawson Knox.
That's fair.
Josh Allen.
Thank you so much, because that was mine too. God, yes, because they were both very raw coming out of college. They were very raw. I'm so glad you brought that up.
When did Josh Allen turn the corner as a player?
Between year 2 and year 3.
Really? Because I think that there was a significant change in Josh Allen's confidence and play as a quarterback between his injury against Houston and when he came back for that Jacksonville game, when he injured his elbow and he had to sit and he had to watch the games from games from the sideline. I think that played an integral role. I think that played an integral role in slowing the game down for Josh Allen. Dawson Knox came in here.
He had to watch.
Dawson Knox came in last year as a raw rookie tight end, and he was thrown into the fire because of injuries to guys like Tyler Kroft. The Bills sort of didn't really pad Dawson Knox and put the greatest of veterans around him. I know you can't compare catching to throwing, but I'm talking about in terms of development. I think that sitting and watching on the sidelines could slow the game down a little bit for Dawson Knox. I think that Dawson, like I made this comment before, physically, Dawson Knox is comparable to the Zach Ertzes, to the George Kittles, to the Travis Kelce's. Physically, he is there. Mentally, he is not. And catching also has a role to do in that. So at the end of the day, maybe Dawson Knox might not be a tight end number 1 this year, but I'm willing to give him his entire rookie contract and make him at least TE2 throughout his entire, because he's still a hell of a blocker, and he can be like at worst, like think of this, if Dawson Knox doesn't reach his ceiling, he could still be tight end 2, who's a massively good blocker and can also flex into the fullback position. Like that could be Dawson Knox's role. Maybe he doesn't turn into that stud and doesn't ever reach his ceiling, but he could still have that role. So I'm not down on Dawson Knox like some people are these last couple of weeks. I'm not ready to give up on him. I'm definitely going to be in Dawson Knox's corner for quite some time.
He makes
some Zay Jones level patience from me on Dawson Knox.
Throw up old Bobby Ray's comment up there about Ole Miss.
He was too drunk in college to do anything.
I mean, what? Not only that, but Ole Miss is garbage. Like they're just garbage. They probably didn't know they had a good player.
Okay.
So I mean,
Well,
yeah,
you got to think they had DK Metcalf, they had AJ
They
Brown,
did.
they had DeMarcus Lodge. Like they had a lot of good players to feed the football to. And from everything I've read, they ran a very simplistic offense at Ole Miss, which means it was pretty much just like man on man, running straight lines and all those different things, like running slants, running verticals, spread offense. There wasn't much play design at Ole Miss. So
he's probably
there wasn't
still
guys
learning
getting
the game.
schemed open. And it definitely wasn't as complex as a that's crazy, Judge. He had a big brother Lee for blocking and Brown and Beasley for catching leadership. I mean, I guess. I mean, the other two guys play different positions. I'm not like I don't know how much you can mentor catching the football. I'm just not willing to give up on
the
Dawson
Jugs
Knox
machine.
Yet.
Get the Jugs
I'm
machine.
just not willing to give up
a Jugs machine.
Maybe I'm just ensorcelled with those curls, but I'm just not willing to give up on Dawson Knox yet. Nor Tommy Sweeney. I still have dreams of those two being my 1-2 tight end.
Just dominating.
The next dominating. Year. The next Ertz and Goddard. Even though Tommy Sweeney's not near as good as Dallas Goddard. There was an article this week on the BuffaloFanatics.com from Casey Guerin. He said Knox is great, but Ertz on a 1-year rental would be cool. What would you be willing to give up for Zach Ertz?
Nothing.
You don't want Zach Ertz?
Nothing right now. No, I really don't. I feel like, giving up too much for him could be dangerous, right? When I think we have the places intact right now for that. And we don't need Dawson Knox. We don't need a, true, huge, giant tight end that's going to catch the ball. We don't need that. We do have playmakers everywhere. So I don't necessarily see the need of giving up draft capital or giving up a player for a 1-year rental. If he is, I haven't looked at his contract. I just saw somebody said 1-year rental. So if he is a 1-year rental, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't see the need to do that. So nothing right now. But still, Zach Ertz is a great player. I love Ertz. He's one of my favorite tight ends, but I'm still just not going to do it. I
mean, that's what you want Dawson Knox to turn into, right? That's really what what you want.
Yeah.
So, there are some really good tight ends in this draft class coming up. The guy from Penn State, Farmuth, and a couple other guys. There's some the guy Brevin Jordan from Miami. There's some good tight ends in this class. So the Bills could. There's some things. Some options for the Bills to consider in the offseason. All right, so we're winding down towards the end of the show. I'm going to let everyone. We're gonna bounce out of here, and we're gonna bounce out of here in the next couple of minutes. Go watch some Thursday Night Football. But before we go, we need your score prediction, Casey. And we need your Thursday score predictions, which I'm sure will change by the pregame show on Sunday. We need your score predictions in the comment section, and we need yours, Casey.
So mine, I've got Bills 34, Rams 28. I think it'll be a close one, especially in the second half. I think the third quarter just sucks. We're going to be awful like always. I think the third quarter is a crutch for us, but then of course in the fourth we're gonna come alive because I mentioned today. I think I wrote today in an article that Josh Allen has ice water in his veins, like he's hooked up to a water cooling machine. And he's going to come alive in the fourth and really take us home to get us to the 34-28. So, and they're going to win by the spread as well. So go ahead and put your money on that.
Got a comment. Andrew Miller, man, almost reading my mind. I don't have 35-28. I have 37-27 Bills. I think Tyler Bass is going to have himself a day. I think the Bills are going to be able to move the football on this Rams team and get themselves into the red zone and get themselves into at least field goal position, score a lot of points. I have 27 points for the Rams, mostly because I do think there will be some garbage time points again. Like my pick last week was 31-24 or something like that, because I thought they would get garbage time points. And sure enough, they got garbage points time. Like every week, the Jets, the Dolphins, they're all scoring garbage time points. It's nice to have a football team, right? Where, like, how nice is it when, Miami is getting those garbage time points and the Jets are getting those garbage time points? We're still points ahead when they get those things. Yeah. Like it's not like cross our fingers. Let's hope the defense can get a stop so we can win this game.
Yeah. We know it's over by halfway.
We have secured our lead. Like we have secured it. So how nice does that feel? It feels good. So Got some good predictions.
Do we have
Bobby says
almost the
31-17.
same? Do we have almost the same prediction? Did you have 37-27?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I had 34-28. So yeah, we were on the right track thinking that way. All right, cool.
I think
Cool,
Chris
cool,
Jenke's
cool.
pretty spot on here. 24-20 Bills. Josh Allen wins the game by catching a 48-yard bomb to himself. What would that do for? First of all, isn't that that's illegal, right? Can you do that?
Yeah, you can. Marcus Mariota did it. I mean, not a 48-yarder.
Didn't it bounce off of someone?
His own pass.
But he bounced off the helmet. If you throw it in the
threw
air
it. He
and
got
running,
batted.
catch
He caught it. And he dove.
Isn't that a forward fumble?
We'll have to look it up.
We're gonna have to.
Do we have a rules guy? Do we have a rules guy?
No, we don't have one of those.
We gotta get one.
What would that do for my fantasy points?
Well, obviously, every touchdown is 4 points, but he also caught it. So depending on what league you're in, a PPR league, you said 48. So every 10, that's 4 points there. That's 8. And then, of course, a touchdown 6. So you're looking at about 13 points. So that'd give you about 13 points if he did all that.
Would you double it?
So
would I get 12 points?
Why would you double it?
Because
it just depends on what the rules are.
Because he threw
that's what I'm saying. Throwing it. Yeah, it depends on your rules, but if you're throwing a touchdown, that's normally 4 points for a touchdown.
It's the same person. He threw it to himself. So is it 6 or is it 12?
That's where I'm getting at. It's 4 for the touchdown for him throwing it. Okay, no. 4 for the throw, 6 for the catch, right? Which is 10. And then you got to look at 40 yards. That's a point for each 10 yard, right? That's 4 more right there. So you're looking at 14. So roughly around 14 points is what you're looking at if all that went down. Is that making sense? No?
It's not ready.
That situation's never going to happen. So we don't have to think too hard about it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Someone said, I'm pretty sure if your fantasy league would implode. I actually have 2 really good fantasy stories I want to share before we head out of here. I'm in one league where there was a tie with percentages. Both teams finished with 97.67 points. Both teams finished with 97.67 points. And we were trying to figure out how to break the tie. We couldn't figure it out.
Head to head at the end of the
Another league this week, I had a guy win by 2 points. Or no, a guy win by 1 point. And then they did a stat correction on Darren Waller. And he lost the game on Thursday morning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Imagine
but I don't,
email.
I don't have to worry about that because my fantasy team in 2 of my leagues just went over 200 points. So it didn't really matter. I don't have to worry about that. When you drop over 200, you don't have to worry about shit like that.
Yeah, you don't have to. I got to change the defense in my fantasy league. So somebody remind me to do that before Sunday.
Yeah.
It's actually the Rams defense.
We have our rules expert. We have our rules expert. And you might have to change that, dude, because that looks way too much like a Dallas Cowboys star. He said it's illegal touching, so no fantasy points for anyone. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, too many of you guys are talking about
Thursday night football.
So now I want to go watch the football game. So unless we have any last second. 2 of my 4 fantasy leagues are Josh Allen.
Wow, they coming for you.
2 of my 4 fantasy leagues. 2 of my 4 fantasy leagues. And I will tell you, so I'm in a fantasy league. I want to do some name dropping here with Nate Geary and Greg Thompson and Marcel Louis-Jacques and Ryan Talbot and Matt Perino.
Ooh.
I'm in a fantasy league with all those guys. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, I know people.
Humble brag over there.
It is
my friend Marcel.
It is a dynasty league, right? And Josh going to get 2 touchdowns. Let's hope, Jeffrey Green. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. And here's what I did in that draft. So in this draft, right, we get tell me James Robinson did something because he's on my team right now. But anyway,
I told y'all to pick him up.
There's a super flex. Have you ever played in a league with a super flex before?
I have not, but you've been telling me about him, and it makes me
the super flex. you could play any player in the Superflex spot, including quarterback, which means you can have a 2-quarterback lineup if you so choose. So James Robinson just scored a touchdown. In this league, I had the first overall pick. I took Christian McCaffrey first overall, which I don't want to talk about it. But then when they looped around with my second and third pick, I went Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, 2-3. So in my first 3 picks, I went Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen.
Cody, don't listen to my podcast, man. If you don't like fantasy football, don't listen to my podcast.
All right, so
but if you want to, we're on Saturdays now. That's Buck City. Just check me out.
Elliot with perfect timing. What's up? You feel the animals? We're heading out, Elliot. I'm sorry.
A little late, man. A little late.
I think you were in the chat earlier from Twitter, though, so I think you got your fix. So, ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate it. The Rico report will be dropping tomorrow at its usual time, 9 p.m. We've got some schedule changes on the podcasting network. Your Fridays just got a hell of a lot better. Nap knows Bills moving up a day into the Friday spot. It's our boy right there. Casey's co-host on the pregame show from 10 to 11 talking fantasy and gambling. Fridays just got a heck of a lot better. Can't picture a better podcast to listen to on a Friday morning than Nap Knows Bills. So check out Nap tomorrow morning on the Buffalo Fanatics Podcasting Network, and check out Casey's podcast Saturday morning, where he'll be talking fantasy and gambling, the Buff City Pod. And Cody, I will be back. I will be back for the I took Murray in my one dynasty league. Elliot says, smash that like. We agree. Smash that like. Shave your balls. 20% off plus free shipping using the promo code Fanatic. Go buy a Buffalo versus everybody shirt. Go buy a Buffalo versus PFF shirt. Use the promo code Bills, guys. Get that discount at the BF Fan Shop. We got you covered here. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Until next time, go Bills.
Go Bills.